Hey guys, Bella here, and this is going to be an update for you guys regarding my ovarian cyst video that I had no idea was going to, perform as well as it did. It had 30,000 views and 335 comments as of now. This was about a year and a half when my ovarian cyst had ruptured, and it was a terrible experience for me. And what I've learned through that process and through those comments is that a lot of women have to go through this, and that there's not a lot of information known about ovarian cysts and the treatment of them, and how to basically navigate having such a chronic issue. So it's been a year and a half since that video, and yesterday I spent 2 hours at the hospital getting an ultrasound, meeting with the doctor about an ovarian cyst that I have now. So unfortunately, this has been something that has been chronic for me. We're still working on a treatment option, but I kind of wanted to touch base with you guys on this video to kind of talk about what I've tried and what I might be trying in the future, and just kind of to let you know, I guess, that you're not alone in trying to deal with this issue. This is a very common thing, but just because it's common doesn't mean that it's easy to go through. And I feel like a lot of what frustrates me about my health lately has been just how female pain or any kind of female experience is just minimized, and we're kind of just told to just kind of get over it, or tough it out, or things like that just really aren't helpful when you're dealing with pain. For me personally, when I had that cyst rupture, that was the most painful experience of my life, and some of you even commented on my past video that it was as painful or more painful than childbirth. So I mean, we're talking some serious pain here, and we're being told to take ibuprofen for it. So it just really doesn't sit right with me. So I thought I'd make a little bit of an update video for you guys. So part of my treatment yesterday was to have a vaginal ultrasound, which basically is what it sounds like. They stick the ultrasound wand in you and try to have a look at your ovaries to see if your ovaries have cysts on them. One thing that I didn't know before having an ovarian cyst was that your ovaries make cysts in order for you to ovulate, but for some people the cyst is painful and it doesn't go away, and you can develop cysts all over your ovaries, which is what PCOS stands for, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So there's a lot of nuances to it that I just really wasn't aware of, and I feel like I wasn't really educated on growing up. So kind of advocating for myself and learning has made me a better patient, because when I go to the doctor now, I can kind of talk to them about my concerns. So yesterday I went through that procedure. They had another look at my ovaries, and they got my scans, gave them to my doctor, and she had a look at them and said that I had a cyst on my left ovary this time. So my body's switching it up on me, it's never dull, and that it was not big enough to warrant surgery or cause for concern. And this is the part that always gets me. It's like, it's not big enough of a problem to warrant any kind of treatment, and apparently pain relief either, because I told her that I was taking ibuprofen for it, and that it just wasn't working. It's not cutting it. So I did explain to my doctor that the pain is not manageable with just over-the-counter products like ibuprofen. I told her that I feel like my pain has been told to just kind of ignore it, and it's been minimized, and I feel like women's pain is just more or less, you're just kind of told to deal with it. And so she suggested that I go on a different medication that is normally for endometriosis. The name of the medication is called Orilissa, and I looked that up, and it has a ton of negative side effects. So I don't even know if I'm going to be taking that or not. In addition to the Orilissa, she prescribed me low loestrin, which is a birth control pill. So currently I'm on the Nexplanon. That is like an implant that goes in my arm here. And I've really liked that birth control. It has been reliable for me. I've been on it for probably 10 years at least. And it's been something that I can count on. And I don't think it really was the cause of my cysts, but some people kind of speculated that maybe it was. But for being on it for so long, I feel like if I was going to have negative side effects, I might have already had those. But with that being said, I am going to start a birth control pill in addition to the Nexplanon that I'm on, and so I'm hoping that that can get some control over those cysts that are causing me the pain. But as far as going to the doctor for this, it seems like there aren't really a lot of treatment options. I've mostly been told that this is normal, and this is something that that you just have to go through and everything's fine. And it's really frustrating to be living in a world where there's all of these medical advances being made, but we're still kind of ignoring the pain of being a woman and having these reproductive issues. And certainly for anyone who has had ovarian cysts, I think it really could be classified as like a chronic pain, chronic illness type of situation, because for the women who deal with these, it can make you not be able to go to work. It can make you not feel like you can get out of bed. And when it was really bad for me, I felt like I couldn't even really walk or move around in my bed. Really just a painful sensation that it was kind of like a pinching or like a pressure kind of feeling to it. So really, really painful and just very much unsettling type of pain, especially being in like the pelvic area. Pelvic pain is something that feels so specific that you really don't have a lot of sensations to compare it to. So currently, I'm dealing with that cyst on the left side. I can notice it throughout the day. I can notice, kind of that, if I put pressure on it, I can feel it. And so it is disheartening to kind of be at this point where I'm not in the same situation I was a year and a half ago, but I'm still dealing with this issue. And, it seems like, there's a lot of recommendations for, oh, try this supplement or try this diet or try this or try that, like a lot of remedies, I guess, that you could say, but like I don't feel confident in any of those because it seems like there's not a lot of science to back it up. So what I would really like to see is, some long-term studies on how, how these things can be treated and how we can deal with the pain from it, because pain is something that is so complicated in the U.S. healthcare system because of the opioid epidemic and the opioid crisis, or whatever you want to call it. Doctors are now so scared and so hesitant to treat pain that they tell you to take over-the-counter medicine. But the problem with that is that this kind of pain does not get resolved with over-the-counter medicine. This kind of pain is debilitating. So it's very frustrating to see that kind of thing going on in the medical care system. I did do some research on it, and I found like a little article on healthline.com. It said if you're experiencing a pinching sensation in your uterus or ovaries, you may have an ovarian cyst. Functional cysts can develop each month as a normal part of your menstrual cycle. These cysts are relatively common and usually aren't cause for concern. That said, they may cause discomfort from time to time, and there are other types of cysts that may result from more serious medical issues. So basically they're saying the same thing the doctor said, that it's not that deep, it's not that serious. And so I guess that's where some of my frustration comes from, is because, when it's you in the pain and when you're dealing with this chronic thing, it is serious. It is, something that seems like, there should be a treatment plan for it. So, at this point, I've had a lot of talks with friends who have also been going through this. Personally, I know one of my friends has had a cyst so bad that she passed out from the pain. I've had other friends who are like going to get scans like every 6 months because they're trying to see if their cyst is growing enough to get it removed. I mean, it's just kind of crazy that we're all dealing with this, but there doesn't seem to be any standard treatment and there isn't really any resolution to dealing with it. So, a lot of me just feels like, I don't know, maybe it's not a lucrative industry to go into for the medical or for the pharma companies, and so there's no standard option for us to get relief from this. I did want to say that if you are having pelvic pain and you are having like a stomach pain that you're not used to having, it's very important that you get it looked at sooner rather than later, because part of the problem, I think, is that we wait until things get really bad to seek treatment, and then maybe it's either too late or the symptoms are worse. And it's really not that I'm saying it's preventable, but it's really best to get that stuff looked at sooner rather than later, because you can actually lose your ovaries from ovarian cysts. They can twist up and they can damage the ovary. They can cause the ovary to basically be unusable. So all of these things I didn't know as a woman in my 20s, and so I'm just trying to, I guess, pass along like some of that information to you guys. I don't want this to seem like too much of a rant video, but it seems like over the last year and a half, as I've been dealing with this pain on and off, what I keep being told is that, oh, there's really no cure, there's really no option for you. And so I know people were dealing with PCOS and endometriosis. It seems like we're kind of on our own. So I do want to talk about briefly the things that have helped me. I mean, I took over-the-counter medicine like ibuprofen or Tylenol or things like that I thought would help. I used a heating pad. I used Epsom salt baths. and also just, tried to clean up my diet, tried not to eat a lot of sugar when I was feeling like I had a cyst that was going to rupture, and that's really all I've been able to do. So starting on these birth control pills, I'm hoping that that will help regulate some things and help keep me from having more cysts develop. I'm sort of conflicted about the Orilissa because at this time, reading about the side effects, I don't know if it's really something that I want to kind of subject myself to. I know Orilissa was originally being prescribed for people with endometriosis. I haven't been diagnosed with that. I haven't been diagnosed with PCOS either. What my doctor told me when I asked about both of those conditions was that I don't have a textbook presentation of either of them. And I'm like, okay, well, what constitutes textbook to you? Because I have hair that like grows, on my face. So that's kind of like, I don't know, it's very frustrating to see that kind of thing. I guess my goal in making this video was to let other women know some of the outcomes and some of the situations that I've been in due to having ovarian cysts, and that so far it seems like I'm being told the same thing that all of you are being told, and that is, take over-the-counter medicine and go to the emergency room if things persist. So if you start throwing up or feeling like, you have appendicitis or you have, really bad issues, at that time we will begin to treat your ovarian cyst. So overall, a lot of frustration that I'm feeling, and overall, just not a lot of hope that this will ever get resolved. More or less that I'm just going to have to manage this throughout my reproductive years. I don't really feel like I want to have any kind of hysterectomy or anything like that. The pain is not debilitating, but the pain is to the point where, it's like, I just feel like this is affecting my life very negatively, and I wish that there was some other option. So if you got anything out of this video, or you have something to add, maybe we can have sort of a discussion about it in the comment section below. I would love for you guys to share your stories, because I gained a lot from that last video by you guys kind of telling me what worked and what didn't work for you, or how you came to realize that you had the ovarian cyst. Because if you Google those symptoms, all kinds of different things come up, and you may not realize that you even have one without getting it looked at by a doctor. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Take care until then.